Just off the back of that, Raf, I'm kind of curious, given the breadth of your perspective on games and their performance, and what do you have any tips for developers out there in terms of, types of like control types that produce the best engagement, right? Do you find like a nice WASD keyboard mouse setup works really well for games, and those are the games
Yeah.
that tend to get a lot more play time? Is it, games with just mouse controls and just, point and click? What do you see there?
Um, I, well, we support even gamepad on Crazy Games, right? There's some games
Yeah,
that,
of
that
course.
you
Yeah.
can actually use that, but I do feel like it's like the audience is changing as well. But the
Mm,
core, I would say a lot of people like casual games, right? It is what it is. So you simple controls like a one button, like easy mechanics, like
mm,
those tend to do relatively well. But I don't. To be honest, I think the controls they don't impact so much
mm.
versus other elements like optimization that we just spoke about it.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that's crucial on the web, it's really also the that you get instant play. You get starting the game rather quickly, rather
Mm-hmm.
than length tutorials and things like this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have FPS games as well. I mean, they
Mm-hmm.
work the same way that traditional PC games would work for the desktop. But once you get on the mobile web, then it's another beast, right? It's the same problem that
Yeah.
mobile
Yeah.
developers they face it, and yeah.
Absolutely. And actually, John, so on that note, question for you. I mean, you've been in the space 7 years, and Smash Carts is, a nice arcadey, like super fun multiplayer game. What do you get a sense of the split of traffic you're seeing within web, between browser web and mobile web, and how do the controls impact performance across either? What do you see anything there?
Yeah. It at the start I was hoping for like a much bigger mobile, like to like a lot of mobile players to be playing it, because I know you worked quite a lot on at the very start of Smash Carts around getting it to work really well and as a progressive web app PWA. And yeah, it was really challenging, especially with Safari. And then when you did get it working, it didn't really have the same impact. And then
Mm,
just like left it, and then we released the mobile app, so we are not that focused on it. And then in the
mm,
last year, it's really changed. Like it's
mm,
actually it's I personally we've seen it that it's being played a lot more because our game is available on the app stores. So but now we're still seeing quite a lot. It was always a small percent of players kind of playing on the web version. You could always play it on your phone if you needed
mm,
to. But now in the last year it's really taken up a little bit. So we're into double digits percent
mm,
of players,
mm,
but it's still hugely on our side. It's much more so Chromebooks
mm.
and PCs, laptops. But I just see it growing. And then with our new game that we're just kind of launching this year, that we've pushed it out, I'm focused, but I'm back actually at the moment this week, focusing back on PWAs and trying to get this to work really well
Mm.
as a PWA, and maybe seeing when we do release it this time on the app stores the next game we're doing. Whether maybe now it's working well enough on the web that we might not need to do it. If the game hits a certain level, I think it will always, for me, be a thing that I would go back to the app stores. But yeah, you need to get to that level. And yeah,
Sorry,
so
just for
Smash
those
Cards, I
for
think
the
they do.
for those
Yeah.
who might not know, which actually includes me, I don't mind admitting that. What is
Yeah.
PWA?
Yeah, like I even forgot what they really are. It's but basically a bit of stuff that you put in with your web game that kind of tells it like, so when you go to the game, you can go like it'll come up and say, "Hey, do you want to install this?" And
Mm,
basically on the web page, so you go to a web page and it goes smashcards.io and it'll come up and go, "Do you want to install this?" You click yeah, and then it will put it on your home screen. It's a bit like adding a
mm,
link to the home screen, except the other small change that it does is not just like a normal link that you would stick on your home, your home screen, whatever you call it on the
mm,
apps on iPhones. When you click on that on an Android anyway, it opens the full screen app without the browser stuff on top of it. So it
mm,
actually for most people it actually feels exactly like an app. Um, it is essentially still running through a browser. It just has that appearance.
mm,
Apple are not too happy with them, and sometimes there's issues around that. And they did try and get rid of it because it does kind of like compete with their app store, obviously.
mm.
But yeah, that's one of the futures that a lot of people do mention as a buzzy thing. So like for
Mm.
years, progressive web
Interesting.
apps. But I don't know, not many people know how to use them. That's one of the
Mm,
problems I think you'd have to say about them. But yeah, this week I've been working on it for a new game, Abbey Roads, and it's like it really is quite good when it works. So yeah, I'm gonna kind of look at that as a kind of side project for this new game and see if we can maybe increase the percent of players that we have. So yeah, I think they see the last year or two. That'd be a short answer. I think you're seeing changes in that big time. Obviously, CrazyGames would know more about that, but I think they've seen quite a big increase in mobile web traffic.
Yeah, and